You might not know this, but the Airbnb market on the coast has been crashing out for a couple years now. There have been so many vacancies and so many empty rentals all over the coast, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina, that people are starting to freak out and they are all putting their homes and condo homes for sale. About 3 to 4 years ago, there were hardly any listings for sale under like 300,000 in Myrtle Beach, and now there's like 1,500 condos. I have a reason for this, and I'm going to explain why. And this is like my personal opinion, but I've been doing real estate for over 26 years. I am a team leader for 2 high-performing teams in North and South Carolina, and I've been watching the market steadily, and I also own Airbnbs. And this might be controversial, but I think a whole bunch of people during COVID used their PPP loan to buy Airbnb rental properties thinking they could get rich. Because remember, no one could travel, no one could go abroad, no one could go anywhere, and they had all this extra money. So they were spending it and they were traveling to Myrtle Beach and Florida and going to all these places. And the Airbnb nightly rates were skyrocketing. There was a shortage of places to stay. So what did a bunch of people do? They bought rental properties and they had no wherewithal, like no education. They did not know that sometimes when the market is bad for rental properties, that you have to carry the note, the HOA dues, the insurance, everything, the taxes for a while sometimes when you have a lot of vacancy. And I also think lenders are at fault here because they were making loans like crazy just to anyone. If you had 20, 30, 40% down, they just made you the loan. Well, so I've been talking to so many sellers and they are tired of paying the vacancy. They're barely breaking even in some cases, and people are not, they're broke. Like, look at the economy. Everybody's in a bad place. And now if you travel, you can travel abroad. You can go anywhere you want. So people aren't spending, $400 a night in an Airbnb in Myrtle Beach anymore. And it's the nicer units, the more beautiful units that are winning out on the rentals. And so if you have a crappy, junky unit that you paid all the money for during COVID, you're sitting empty. And now these sellers want to sell. They've only owned these places for like 2 or 3 years and they can't sell. They're not selling. They're just sitting. The condos here are sitting for 120, 160, 180 days and not selling. And on top of it, Myrtle Beach had a hurricane like not too long ago, which drove up all the insurance prices, and then a whole bunch of buildings had assessments due to flooding and damage. So these people are having to come out of pocket sometimes $10,000, $15,000 for an assessment, and their insurance doubled and tripled. And there's no bookings. Right now, the rate's being at, 7%-ish or 6%-ish. That doesn't mean that an investor can get that rate. You got to tack on another 1.5%. So typically right now, interest rates for other investors to buy these properties are probably like in the 8s or 9s. So there is no real push to go buy these places because investors are kind of waiting, and they're waiting for ones that they can get a deal on. They're actually out here making offers 20, 50, 100,000 less than asking. Listen, if you're an investor that can pay cash, you can get a deal. If you own these cash, you're fine because you can probably break even with the taxes and insurance and HOA dues. Or if you're going to gamble a little bit, like a lot of people do, they use real estate as a gambling vehicle, and they're investors. They don't even care about the rate right now. They're just trying to get a deal, price wise, get in there, get the loan locked in, and they're going to put it on a 5-year balloon, amortize over 30 years, and then they're just going to refinance it when the rates go down. I work with a lot of savvy investors, and I am also one of those. I consider myself, and I've been buying properties at a higher interest rate. Yeah, it kind of sucks. I'm not really making a lot of cash flow, but I'm waiting for the trend of the interest rates to go down. I will refinance later. You don't have to agree with this, but this is my strategy. I make content on here to help real estate agents, but I also want to talk about how real estate agents can use real estate for their own generational wealth and retirement. So if you like these tips, please follow and like this post, and please engage with it with your
Trash my Airbnb and don't want to pay.
Hey, Karen?
Hey, Todd.
Hey, I'm just returning your call. What's going on? It sound like an emergency?
Yeah, I got some bad news.
Okay.
My son had some friends over at the Airbnb, and they just completely trashed it.
Please tell me you're joking.
I'm not. They just completely trashed it.
Karen, I have guests checking in, literally as soon as you guys leave. What are you talking about? What's wrong with it?
There's, holes all in the walls, ceiling fans hanging. There's food everywhere. Our carpet's ripped up. The furniture, stuffing's coming out. I don't know how I'm going to pay for this.
Do you understand something? This was like my best house. I put so much money into this house, and now to hear that it's ruined, I'm so furious right now.
I'm sorry, I wish I could do something else, but where we go from here?
I literally have guests checking in 24 hours. I mean, you're gonna have to pay for this.
I can't, dude.
What do you mean you can't? What do you mean you can't pay for it? You literally rented an Airbnb. You can't pay for the damages that you guys caused? That's absolutely ridiculous.
I literally used all my money on renting that place.
Okay, that's not my problem. Why would I pay for this?
Don't I have like renter's insurance through like Airbnb or something?
It's gonna take a month. I have guests who need to come tomorrow. You're gonna hear from my lawyer. You understand me?
I don't understand why you're being so difficult right now.
Because I have a business to run. You guys were careless enough to interrupt it by trashing my house.
Whatever, Todd. I'm not dealing with this. We can file a claim, whatever. I'll go through Airbnb, but I'm over this now.
Are you crazy?
You literally haven't helped me this entire time on the phone, so thank you, but no thank you. I'm gonna go through Airbnb.
No, you'll hear from my. She literally just hung up.
Airbnb Crash is coming. Here's what you need to know.
Over 2 million Airbnb properties could hit the market, creating the biggest housing inventory surge that we've ever seen. And this is why.
Short-term rental occupancy has plunged below 50% nationally. Cities like Miami and Fort Lauderdale have fallen even worse, below 40%.
Skyrocketing costs. Insurance alone went up by 34%, making short-term rentals far less profitable.
Cities are cracking down. Over 340 places introduced new Airbnb restrictions, squeezing profits even further.
Too many Airbnbs. Listings have increased by over 24%, but demand has decreased by over 12%. Too many houses, not enough guests.
Financing chaos. Many investors who bought during COVID at a record low interest rate now face refinancing issues as their costs will double.
Plus, Airbnbs are losing their edge. Hidden fees and higher costs mean travelers are going back to hotels who are now offering Airbnb perks at lower prices.
Investors are noticing and they are exiting fast, converting rentals back to traditional leases, further flooding the market.
South Florida homeowners, even though you've never rented your home, all these changes could seriously affect your property value.
If you want to discuss this or any other real estate needs, reach out to the Homes by Kuzi team and we'll take care of it.
Airbnb hosts are quitting.
I'm quitting Airbnb. It just doesn't make sense anymore.
It's not just burnout. It's because the numbers don't add up anymore. And this could seriously shake up the real estate market. California just passed a new 15% tax on short-term rentals on top of the regular hotel tax, meaning guests could be paying 25 to 30% extra just to stay at an Airbnb. Meanwhile, operating costs, insurance, utilities, cleaning have exploded. So what's happening? Thousands of Airbnb owners are pivoting to long-term rentals or putting their properties up for sale. And when a bunch of second homes and Airbnbs flood the market, that creates new inventory. It shifts pricing, and it could finally create opportunities for buyers who have been sitting on the sidelines for so long. This isn't just an Airbnb problem. It's a real estate trend you can't afford to ignore.
Everyone says that Airbnb is dead, but they're wrong. Here's what's actually happening. In 2025, Airbnb is a customer experience business. It's a hospitality business. The Airbnb of long before was a real estate business, but not anymore. It's now focused solely on the guest experience, amenities, game rooms, different experiences that you can offer, making that guest feel as welcome as possible and making their experience as enjoyable as possible. You can't just take pictures of your property and put it on Airbnb and generate income anymore. You have to focus on what the guest is coming to the town for, what the guest is looking to do, and making sure that experience is fantastic for them. And while you're saving up, accumulating that down payment, focus on accumulating knowledge at the same time. Watch YouTube videos, take part in mentorship, take online courses, so you can make sure that you understand what needs to be done. Once you have the down payment and you do acquire your first property, you have the knowledge and the skills needed to take that to the next step.
Airbnb is dying. The 2025 Survival Guide for Smart Hosts. Airbnb bookings down 30%. Airbnb just dropped a bombshell report, and 90% of hosts are about to get wiped out. But here's what nobody is telling you. This is actually the best thing that could happen to your rental business if you know these 3 secrets. The 3 fatal flaws killing Airbnb. 1. Oversaturation. Airbnb now has more listings than McDonald's has burgers. Your property is buried on page 12. 2. Fee fatigue. Guests are revolting against these ridiculous charges. And guess who they're blaming? You. 3. Generic equals ghosted. 2025 travelers want experiences, not just beds. The data proves specialty listings get 4x more bookings. Moving on to the next. The platforms stealing your guests. Wander. While Airbnb hosts fight over £99 stays, Wander hosts average £500 per night with zero price haggling. Kid and Co-E family travelers pay 30% more for pre-child-proofed homes with toys included. Sunder. Business travelers are ditching Airbnb for Sunder's reliability guarantee. Case study, from 2K to 7K a month. Sarah in London was ready to quit until she implemented my niche strategy. 1. Switch to Booking.com, plus Airbnb. 2. Added luxury picnic package, 150 upgrade. 3. Automated pricing with PriceLab's result. Her income, 2x working half the hours. Moving on to the next. Your 2025 survival plan. Action steps option. 1. Dominate Airbnb. Use my listing hack to appear on page 1. Offer experience add-ons, local tours, meal kits, / cleaning fees, but charge for upgrades. Option 2. Diversify. Cross-list on 2 alternate platforms. Create direct booking website. Build an email list of repeat guests. Free bonus. If I get 100 likes, I will put my platform comparison cheat sheet with exact commission rates and occupancy stats in the description. Airbnb isn't dying, but the old way of hosting is. The hosts who adapt today will own 2025. 1. Like if you're ready to pivot. 2. Comment 2025 for the free cheat sheet. 3. Subscribe for next video.
I'm like a big baby. Okay, so me and my hubby are in Hawaii right now. We got an Airbnb. God, I hate Airbnb at this point. This is the second time this has happened, but this was a different situation. Okay, people in the world are dying, I know. Okay, I should not be this upset, but I'm just fucking over it. We've been on vacation 3 days now. I've been on the phone the whole time. We have 4 days left. Like, I'm over my vacation being on the phone. So we got an Airbnb, and it was supposed to have a beach view. We get there, there's no beach view. No beach view. It says in the description, beach view. When I looked up the unit, I did a, where you can do like the filter thing, and it'll filter it out to all units with beach views. Well, it said it said there was a beach view. Well, we get there and there's no beach view. So I message Airbnb and I tell them I want a refund. I'm leaving the unit. There is no beach view like there was supposed to be. I've spent a lot of money coming to Hawaii. It's not cheap. I wanted a beach view. That's what I wanted. My ears are, I'm so fucking mad right now. So Airbnb says, well, if you can be out there by 10, then the host has agreed to refund you for nights. The 5 nights you had requested, but you have to be there by 10. And I was like, okay, it's fine, that works. Well, I didn't read that it said nights, not days. So Airbnb is like, well, you're not getting refunded for days, only nights. So, so you're telling me a mistake the host made putting beach view. You're gonna make me pay my total was $1,298. They're gonna refund me half of that, and I had to get another Airbnb. I don't live here. At the last minute, there was no Airbnbs available except for top dollar ones. So my new Airbnb cost me like $2,000. My budget was $1,300. So there's another $700 on top of the $600 I've lost out on. Not to mention, when me and my hubby got to the unit, the refrigerator wasn't plugged in, so a lot of the food we had bought got ruined. We had to throw it away. There was also a the carport was so freaking 6 feet tall. So the top of our rental unit got scratched. And I don't even know what's going to happen with that when I go return my car rental. But, you know, Airbnb just keeps going on and back and forth with me that they're only refunding me half my money. How is that my fault? Why should I have to take a $600 loss because the host put beach view and there was no beach view? I should have been able to leave quietly, move to my next unit, and just get a refund, right? I didn't even stay there. I stayed there 12 hours. I got there at midnight, so I was not able to tell there was no beach view till the next morning. And I messaged Airbnb right away the next morning when I saw there was no beach view. So, I mean, am I wrong? I mean, am I crazy for wanting all my $1,298 back? Am I wrong? I even agreed to pay the cleaning fee because they're going to have to pay a cleaning lady, which I don't even think I should have to do that. I would not have been in that unit to begin with.
That's even their policy.
Yeah, and it's in their policy. It says if the host fails to misinterprets the description of the listing, they will refund you all your money, and they will not refund me. Can you guys tag Airbnb or something? Somebody please help me. Somebody just put me in the right direction here. Because I have 4 days left on my vacation, and I don't get to take many vacations. Maybe works a lot. I mean, you don't have young kids. Like, I am just speechless. I am like, somebody point me in the direction, like, where I can get, they're saying they're not refunding.
When you see and realize what you missed out on, you are going to
2025 Airbnb predictions. The last one's the best, so wait to the very end. AI powered everything. The days of manual property management is over. If you don't get on an AI train, you're gonna be left behind in 6 months or less. 90% of all my guest communications are automated by my AI chatbot. I remove bad reviews using an AI powered ChatGPT, and I optimize all my listings and descriptions with AI powered tools to make them look better and attract more guests. 2, professional hosts take center stage. Long are days where if you're a hobbyist, you're gonna succeed in this business. Now, the professionals rule. Great design, great location, great customer service. If you don't have all of these, you're not going to make money, and this business is not for you. Number 3, multi-channel marketing is a must. You cannot just be on Airbnb alone. That is a death sentence to this business. You have to be on VRBO, Booking.com, Expedia, Marriott, Google Travels. All this is an absolute business necessity if you want to be successful in 2025. Number 4, regulations are going to be stricter. Taxes, permits, license. Make sure that you understand the rules where you operate so that you can have a protected Airbnb for the next 30 years. Regulations is great. It controls supply. So make sure you're in a great market, have all the right licenses. That's how you're going to be successful. Take these 4 tips and you can STR the best.
We just launched a bunch of updates, and what does it mean for hosts? Those of you who don't know me, my name is Ashley, and I'm an Airbnb superhost. I come on here to yap and talk about my favorite stuff, but I also like to talk about bad guests, and I like to talk about all the new changes and things hosts need to know. So if you're trying to build that generational wealth, if you're just here to chat, give me a like and follow. So before we get back to regularly scheduled programming about how shitty some people can be, let's talk about some changes to Airbnb. Airbnb just implemented their brand new all-in-one pricing. A lot of complaints over the years for guests has been that they go and put the price range in their budget, they find a property, and then Airbnb puts their taxes, fees, cleaning fee, maybe resort fees, all these other things. All of a sudden you're paying double. And as a host of 8 years, I can tell you it's very frustrating because people will personally message me and say, what's the price if I book 3 days? Well, I don't know because we don't have a lot of host transparency with what those fees and taxes are. On the guest perspective, I've personally been really frustrated with putting a budget in and then it's double that price. So I know exactly it's not the best customer experience. So for Airbnb, they're putting it all in one, which is great for guests. But here's the caveat for hosts. Hosts have to check their pricing because some are seeing their cleaning fees and other fees that are not in the transparent pricing fall off. A lot of people can say, well, you know, that's great because then you just incorporate it in the price. But for some people like me, where I pay a local cleaning company, they charge me $150 every single time they clean, no matter what. You stay for 2 days, it's $150. You stay for 20 days, it's $150. Up until 40 days, it's $150. So what you're going to start seeing is you're probably going to start seeing that those weekend stays, those under 15-day stays are going to be a little bit pricier because hosts are going to have to incorporate that standardized fee. I know I'm not the only one that uses local cleaning companies. In the long run, it will be good, but I think guests are going to have to get over that initial sticker shock. The second thing for hosts and guests is that if you want to dispute a review and you feel that it's retaliatory, it's now through AI. So it's really hard to talk to somebody. And unless you have every single documentation on Airbnb, it's going to be really hard to dispute it and get it removed. I've had people leave 1-star reviews because I wouldn't comp their entire stay because they threatened me off Airbnb that they would leave me a bad review if I didn't comp their stay. That was 8 years ago when I was a baby host, and now I stick to only speaking on the Airbnb platform, which for any baby host, season host, intermediate host, I highly recommend. Always stick to talking on the Airbnb platform. I also recommend for guests too, because you're also protecting yourself, because there is a second review process for the guest side. I can tell you personally, if I see a review where somebody threw a party or they completely trashed the property, I'm not going to be as excited to host them. So in all, I think it's really good because the review process is tightening up, and I think that the pricing will be easier for people to stick to their budget, but there's going to be some learning curves. There's going to be some growing pains. It's also important to know as a small business that if you are paying somebody else to clean the property and you're charging a cleaning fee, that it's actually going to be paid. Follow me for more tips.
We have been in bed all day grieving the loss of our dog, and then we get this email less than a month before our wedding telling us that the villa where our guests are staying has been canceled. And Airbnb offered me a $25 credit. A $25 credit for us to try to find a villa with 1 million rooms in it in Mexico less than a month before our wedding. So be warned about Airbnb, and then if you want to be petty, tag them, because we would love if they would help us with more than a $25 fucking credit. When it rains, it pours.
Building suburban Airbnb properties where there are, reasonably affordable hotels in that area, those are the ones that are going to get crushed first. Unless you're like right on Broadway where you're walking distance to everything and you have multiple rooms where it's more affordable than getting individual hotels, or it's this ultra exclusive luxury experience, or like you said, you're building Airbnbs in an area where there's no hospitality accommodations, no hotels, no short-term rental properties. Like that's where it makes sense, whether it's glamping or a cabin in the woods or cabin on a mountain if you want to go snowboarding or skiing. That's where you'll continue to see demand.
Hello everyone, from wherever you're watching me from today. My name is Henry. I'm an investor in Houston, Texas. Today I want to dive into Airbnb short-term rentals and tell you the reason why in 2025 it's not really what I would like to jump into. I'm gonna give you the pros and cons. I'm not telling you can't make any money off of it, but for me right now, because I'm so broad in the real estate game, I've tried this and that and I kind of know what works. And in 2025, I will not be doing Airbnbs. I'm gonna be sharing the pros and cons on, and I'll let you make that decision for yourself. First of all, the first thing I'm gonna dive right into is how saturated it is in 2025 right now. It's easy, and whatever they say, whatever is easy to get into is there's gonna be a bunch of competition. That's one, honestly. And knowing your area better, you gotta know your area better. You gotta make sure is downtown or midtown. You can be in the countryside and expect Airbnb to work for you. That's another huge part, because that's one of the things that actually affected me, that made me quit doing Airbnb. I'll dive into that maybe much later. It's very seasonal. During winter it's a little slow, and during summer it's super good, depending on the area. Like I always say, real estate is all about, you always hear it, location, location, location. And you have to know how to talk to people. It's very important. You can just jump into Airbnb. You're gonna be getting all kinds of random people message you very rudely. Airbnb has a better way to help you, pick the best guests for you. But by the time Airbnb take their cuts, if you want to have somebody to maintain the place for you, you got to pay the person to a certain percentage, and you're really not really gonna be making much. You have to have this in bunch, like you have to have a bunch of Airbnbs. People make mess all the time. The worst one I had is I think there's blood and stain on the bed. People will steal your stuff, and it's just a lot. And right now in 2025, there's in some states you're only allowed to have like 3 or so, and some areas the HOA don't really want people with Airbnb. There's just a lot of disadvantage, and there's some advantage on in Airbnb that a lot of people don't know is a lot of people think you really have to own the place. You don't have to own the place. You can go rent it out. You can talk to a landlord, or or you can talk to apartment people and let them know like, hey, you want to use it for Airbnb and stuff like that, and you make a little you make quick cash, monthly. But like I said, for me, that's not really for me. And I just want to come in here and let you guys know mostly the disadvantage of doing Airbnb in 2025. And for me, honestly, I will not, if I want to start real estate, I will not be going into Airbnb. You guys remember
Airbnb, Brian Chesky, you guys are hemorrhaging money, aren't you? You guys are hemorrhaging money, aren't you? Go look at that. I don't even know where the article's at anymore, but go look up the Brian Chesky trying to turn Airbnb into an everything app. And it's almost like when a dude who was in a healthy relationship or like a healthy marriage for 20 years gets divorced and then absolutely tries. Oh, no, not even that. It's like Austin McBroom attempting to pull that stupid ass like lifestyle transformation back into like 17 again after losing their relationship with Catherine. It's just like that divorced dad energy, trying to like not just muster up energy, but trying to go back to a time in your life where you peaked and you thought you were cool because the world was telling you you were cool because you didn't know that you were just trendy. Now, I've been saying this for the past, 6 months, but all of these tech platforms that solidified themselves as like essential businesses basically during COVID, or maybe not Airbnb specifically, but all of the ones who really rose in from 2012 to 2016, peaked in 2016, 18, and then COVID happened. Yeah, they're all just enjoying the benefits of people being forced to stay inside or like non-traditional lifestyle from COVID. And they exploited the fuck out of that, bro, as an opportunity to get rich and to hold all the billion-dollar unicorns rather than actually make applicable applications that people could use and not just systems they could get rich off of. Because how the fuck are you going to transform Airbnb into an everything app? Everything what? And you can tell it's a crash out. And I don't want to accuse this dude of taking any illicit substances, but you go from a hotel service app to an everything app. This sounds very similar to what Elon Musk is doing, and we all know Elon Musk's issue with that substance that starts with a K. So again, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but I want you guys to really start to see all these tech platforms that exploited engineers, exploited their creators that were on the platform, that abused the users from the platform, that didn't listen to the users who were begging for change, begging for transformation, begging for nuance. They're all going to have to take the millions of dollars, if not billions, that they've been selling off in stock options and try to reinvest in the projects that they were just fortunately able to hyperscale for the time in society that they were rising up. As a recreational drug enthusiast myself, I'm here to tell you, it's like, I haven't taken this one specifically, but this is a circumstance that I am very familiar with in observing other people. You ever happen to be at a party and see people speaking at light speed, English, mind you, speaking in light speed? They're probably discussing a business plan. The thing that Brian Chesky, Airbnb, Twitter, Meta, Facebook, the thing that they're all doing, these are all like coke dreams that you wake up in the morning with the contacts that you got from this conversation, knowing that you're never going to speak to them again, knowing the conversation is something that probably should have never been said, and knowing that it's never going to be fulfilled anyway. But this is how you can tell. It's a war cry from a rich kid. It's like It's like that girl who's basically, I don't know if she's a millionaire or something, but she seems to be pretty well off. I mean, spending tens of thousands of dollars to go places. It's like the girl who's asking for like 20 racks for her dog surgery. Like we're all sitting here thinking, weren't you just going to South by Southwest and Forbes this and World Economic Forum talking about we're a unicorn company, $1 billion out of Silicon Valley, Y Combinator this, Y Combinator, we hate black people. I mean, okay, maybe not the last part. But this is when we get to see all those companies that became either $1 billion companies or just started stealing money from society. We're going to see whether those were just funnels to make investors wealthy, or there was actually any kind of intention of reinvesting in the companies to be legacy brands. And we can see that there was no intention of the latter, because think about how, for a simple case study, Meta and TikTok now treat their creators. These companies make billions, tens of, if not hundreds of billions of dollars in exchange through free content that gets uploaded every single day onto their platforms. And even the people that do make them lots of money are only getting paid fractions of what we create organically for them. There was never any intention. Instagram has never had an intention of creating a creator fund. I'm pretty sure they might have it now. I don't know if they do, but this is the time where you get to see how much of these startup cults actually had good ideas, or they're just trying to monopolize an industry, destroy all the competition so they don't have to compete and actually be better, and then end up throwing away the entire industry. I lost so much respect for all these. I mean, I never really had it, to be honest, but I lost so much respect for these like tech CEOs, especially when I listened to them at South by Southwest. And I'm not gonna lie, my disappointment in these people has been one of the most motivating factors in getting me to build my own platforms and to really be a part of this entrepreneurial space, if you even want to call it that. Because, and I hate to even describe it this way, but it's the only way that makes sense in my brain. It's like the guys, and this sounds horrible too, so I apologize for this. The guys who don't actively get their knob slobbed on, they have to find these very like intricate ways to get their knob slobbed on. And for many of these guys, the only way they can do it is by being the multi-million-dollar CEO of $1 billion company, and everybody has to respect you because you are on the other side of giving them credibility, validation, opportunity, whatnot, things that like you never had access to before you being successful. So think about how easy it is for these guys to get lost in the sauce, thinking that they are literal like architects of the universe. Like, no, you're just an engineer. You're just a developer who ended up working for a successful project. You aren't God. You aren't Moses. You aren't fucking any of these guys. You are racist. You are an incel. And if you're not an incel, you're paying for it. And you have absolutely no social skills other than the people who look and behave or live exactly like you. Because when you're forced to speak on the rest of the world or to the rest of the world, you know, the people that use your platforms, it's like you don't know how to speak English anymore. I'm so ready for these guys to like finally, for at least the world to finally see like, oh yeah, these, just because the internet allows companies to scale into millions and billions so quickly, so efficiently, it doesn't mean that the company's gonna last, bro. This is an analogy I like to use, or at least a visual I like to use. So, it's hilarious, I got Forbes right there. I got a video talking shit on all them. So basically, we live in a world where it's like a bunch of pages of a book, and the internet was just able to like fold over 100 pages into 10. Artificial intelligence is about to fold those 100 pages that turned into 10 into a paragraph. Like, not just fold the pages, but fold the pages and condense the content. So, yes, you may see 20-year-olds with billion-dollar companies in this next era of like industry that we're walking into, but you also have to remember, just as quickly as you can make it and you can bootstrap it and scale it up, is just as quickly as it can come all crashing down. And you have to deal with the reconfiguration of people losing jobs, people losing healthcare, people not being able to work, trying to integrate AI, trying to pivot giant companies into a high-paced era. We're going to see who's a fucking boss now, bro. I'll tell you right now, we're going to see who's a fucking boss. And a lot of these guys are not bosses. They just got lucky. They're just freaking sales reps, bro, and sales leaders. And if a lot of them weren't working for Meta or working for Airbnb or whatnot, they'd be at fucking, what's that shit that Patrick Bet-David does? Like Prime America or Amway or one of those MLM schemes. Just selling dreams. If they're not doing that, they'd be selling religion for one of the
biggest mistakes I see Airbnb hosts make. Let's get into it. Number one, not doing enough due diligence. Just because it look cute on Zillow or wherever you found a property doesn't mean it's going to book. Check local demand, look at comps, look at short-term rental regulations in that area. Like, seriously, don't skip this step because you'll regret it later. Number two, not evaluating the property properly. No good parking, bad Wi-Fi, weird smells. You knew that roof or that ceiling looked a little sketchy. I'm telling you, anything that feels off or looks off, you need to make sure the landlord is willing to fix that because you can prevent headaches down the line. Number three, not vetting the landlord properly. Not vetting the landlord in general is a red flag. Because in the case of emergency, you need to make sure that landlord is one call away, one trip away. Like, you need to make sure their reaction is as urgent as it was if it was something that was going on in their life. Make sure you establish that boundary. Emphasize how important that is up front. You don't want someone slow, unresponsive, or lazy. Want more Airbnb content just like this? Make sure you're following Invest in Family Legacy because we're teaching you all the wealth strategies schools forgot to teach you.